So, see, looking at the use of technology, and in this case, as you have mentioned about Telegram, this is not that something new. And Dr. Umar, that you're talking about, the suspected suicide bomber, there have been reports that, as per the travel history, he might as well have traveled to Turkey as well. And two groups that are used in Telegram, namely Farzan-e Darul Uloom, Deoband, and Umar bin Khattab. These groups are suspected to have been used in conducting these radicalization subversion activities, where these doctors, they were certain handlers. So one of the members in these telegram groups is likely with the Turkish number, so that also links some of the chains of this event to people sitting in Turkey as well. If you look into the handlers sitting in Afghanistan, the ISKP link, that also Abu Khadija, that is also being looked into. So Telegram, the susceptibility of Telegram to such nefarious designs. Why Telegram is susceptible? One thing is that it allows very large groups, which is not possible with WhatsApp and other social media. Apart from that, you don't need to use your number as well. Privacy, security, and all of these things, it becomes a lot of challenge here. So considering that aspect, we definitely cannot rule out the use of Telegram in these radicalization activities and in planning these attacks, logistics, and all of that. However, I would exercise due caution because the investigation is still in progress and we should not jump the gun as of now. But the possibility cannot be ruled as of now, also. That also needs to be pointed out. That's a very valid observation, and Telegram founder is right in saying that privacy needs to be respected. Having said that, I would also like to go on to say that there are blurring lines between privacy and national security. So it is very critical at this day and age. If I take you to this idea proposed by Frank Hoffman, who talked about how hybrid warfare is now going to be the order of the day. So considering that these platform makers, these people behind these platforms, also need to make concessions when it comes to national security. Why India is facing a lot of challenge here as well? Because Telegram, the jurisdiction and the data dump that is there, it is across jurisdictions. For example, the legal entity may be in Dubai, some of it may be in the States, United States. So it becomes very difficult for the law enforcement agencies. In this case, we see that NIA is handling the post blast investigation as well as the intelligence and the police authorities. It becomes very challenging task to really join the dots, because you will have need those necessary permissions. In some cases you may not get that as well. Also, one thing that also gray area, that the chat histories are self destructing. So that is also a challenge, and if you destroy one channel, the other day they may open another radicalization. It's just like a madrasa, but a digital madrasa, so to say, where you don't need to go to people's houses. You can sit in the luxury of your homes many thousand miles away and indoctrinate and subvert the ideology of the people. Particularly, I would like to mention here, it's only the vulnerable people who are targeted, who may have been victims of something, and then you propagate this idea, play to their sensibilities and bring them on board. There, the unconfirmed reports also talk about how these some of these doctors were brainwashed by one of these ulamas during their internship programs. How this white collar terror is also spreading its fangs, that also needs to be looked into. But one important thing that needs to be understood, mitigating terror is one thing. This is our police machinery. That is terrorism is not something that is to be catered with law and order. Law and order is something else. Terrorism is a big cartel. It's a profit making machinery. You have drug cartels, you have organized crime, all of this is linked. And when you bring the angle of technology being used, we cannot rule out the possibility of dark web being cartelized into this, how cryptocurrency is being brought in. So a lot of these things, dots do join for themselves, but a bigger plan is being hatched to break the communal fabric of the country and arrest India's this economic rise. So all of these things are also not just a plan of the country on the other side of the red cliff, but the deep state in various other countries, so to say. I will not name the country as of now, but yes, this is a bigger plan that is being hatched. I will even say that they will not start. They are already doing it, and it is being used. I mean, these apps, these messengers, for example, Telegram or even WhatsApp to an extent, or social media, Instagram or your Facebook or through YouTube or various other shady apps, as you mentioned, in the dark web. So they are being used because regulation is very difficult. One. Number two, even if you try to regulate, they will find newer ways to manipulate it. They will use the VPNs on these servers. So technology is the invisible enemy these days. No, you have to know, at this day and age, wars are no longer to be fought on the borders. They are fought in our minds, in our psychologies. And if I were to talk a basic principle of statecraft, how countries counter the economic and overall rise of nations. The biggest defeat of a country is to fight a conventional war. Conventional war is indeed a failure of the art of statecraft. If you talk about the art of strategy, you have to disenable the enemy on the other side to wage war against you. That is the victory. And that has to be countered not just at the law enforcement, or you talk about the military, that is there, but there is a deeper state that needs to be channelized. We need to work on that aspect as well. How we, dis, break the system, break the system of terror that is being run through various means. तो ये चीजों को समझना भी हमारे लिए, it is going to be very very critical. So things are not in isolation, there are connected dots. That is something very important as well.